right, we'll see if this works or not. And if it doesn't, well, then that's the end of it. It's so difficult just to share some basic recipes. Apparently, even when you have no sound on, and this is probably the most undeveloped recipe in the planet. There could be a YouTube violation, but whatever. I don't know why. It's completely mysterious to me. So I'm going to assume that it's all related to my misuse of the channel by what I don't know, but that's part of the mystery. MJ3M, and I haven't done anything remotely controversial, but I don't know what the hell YouTube is dealing with. Just want to have a cooking show with my friends. Shouldn't be that complicated. This is what I think, but what do I know? All right, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's see if this works. We'll see if this works at all. God, what a pain in the ass. Everything is a fucking pain in the ass. This shouldn't be that hard. All right, well, let me what pain in the ass. I don't know if it works. If anybody's listening, then please tell me if this works. Because I have no idea. I'm flying blind at the moment. All I'm getting are all these complaints. No idea if anything's working. And all I get are people saying, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yes, I'm aware of the problems. I want to know if since I fixed it, or think I fixed it, if it's working. If it's not, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but quit bombarding me. I've got 9 million people telling me it doesn't work. So that's not really very helpful. I'm trying to stare on a screen I can't read anymore because I'm getting old and it all sucks, and everybody's mad, with my free offering here. So, and granted, it's crappy. I'll be the first to admit that. All right. If I can get a couple people to actually test this to see if it works, that would be helpful. Anybody can tell me. I'm propagating it now. Please tell me if it works. All I'm dealing with are 8 zillion messages about, yes, I know, everybody, it doesn't work. It's not my fault. I'll explain this in a second. But yes, I know. I don't have it either. What a pain in the ass. I hate YouTube. I don't really hate YouTube. I'm not paying anything for it, so no really right to complain about anything. But it's annoying that it doesn't work. If anybody can hear this, that's great. Please text me on my phone, because looking for it on here is basically a waste of time. Jamie is on there, But text me on my phone. This is just not reliable enough. It's working. It's your bedtime, is it? Well, you're gonna have to give me a moment, Aunt, because I've got a lot of people who I've basically blown off for a second. And to say that this is not exactly ideal is putting it mildly. So just give me 1 minute. But I'm glad to hear that it's working. It's an improvement. Thank you for letting me know. All right, let me notify, since I'm too stupid to have a regular mailing list. But I had problems. Well, I'll explain that in a minute. You'll see, because we're going to have Yathernitsa tonight. We are going to have Yathernitsa tonight. It's working. Okay, good. I got another confirmation. That's great. So I appreciate the confirmations. Thank you. You're going to have to give me a minute to update the people in my crude, foolish way, and then I'll get started. And I really have prepared a lot of, hopefully good stuff for tonight. Oh, all right, good. We're being seen in Uruguay. Well, the sound is not. Well, I'll get into that later. Let me let everybody know first that it's working finally. Nuisance. Just hope that they don't can me again in the middle of just trying to get ready. All right, all I want to do is make some food for you tonight, and it shouldn't be that complicated. It won't be. We're going to have a wonderful Friday night of entertainment, regalia, etc. Just give me 1 second. Maybe like 500 seconds. I don't know. Since nobody has anything to do, I try to make sure that people are entertained, because frankly, it's boring out there, isn't it? And you know this already. Don't tell me anything you don't already know. I'll be going outside in a second to show you COVID Farms. It's one of the many, many features of tonight's program. Nope. All right, we got people showing up on the chat. That's good. It's always a good sign. Just give me a minute here. I'm trying to, in my crappy manual way, notify people. Which, if I wasn't such a jackass, I would have done it in a better way, but it's too late for that, right? Right. And I got to somehow notify my parents because, you got to be nice to your parents, right? Yeah, they need a little hand holding, as do we all. Clean shaved. Yes, Alex, I'm clean shaved. Yes, that's one of my many faults. It's only the second time I've used my razor since the whole house arrest order came down when we all surrendered our First Amendment rights. So don't get too mad at me. Oh, you didn't realize you surrendered your First Amendment rights, did you? Well, what do you think this fucking is? You don't have the freedom of assembly anymore, so stop complaining about it and just accept it. You're just basically a tool of the state. Sorry, I didn't mean to be saying that out loud. just whining. And nobody likes a whiner. Okay, I'm getting close to having everybody in. That's probably enough. I gotta tell my parents, or at least email them, and then that's their problem if they get in or not. All right. And just give me 1 second. I got one last notification to send out, and then I'll begin tonight's episode of COVID Kitchen, which I have great expectations for being a wonderful episode. I truly mean that. All right. All right. I hope my parents actually get this. They're probably going to be like, I'm not sending the subject line or anything. All right. My aunt is on. I know that much, so she can. All right. Good job, Alex. All right. So my parents may not see it, but my aunt will, and hopefully my brother and miscellaneous people are. All right. Well, thank you for joining tonight on COVID Kitchen, April 3rd, 2020. Very auspicious day in American history, unfortunately. I've got a great show for you tonight. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to happen. And before I do anything else, I'll explain a bit about. To keep the show shorter, I have to keep the. I have to do some par baking. I'll explain what this is in a minute. But I don't like you to sit here all night while I'm explaining things. So I want to make sure that you see I've got some yachronitsa and some bacon, and I'll explain all about what yachronitsa is in a minute. I want to get this in the oven so that this show doesn't take forever, because I know that you're all busy and everybody's got a lot of stuff to do somewhere other than here. So it's totally understandable. So I'm going to basically put bacon on top of a couple of sausages, like so. I don't know if you can see that or not. Then I'm going to throw it in the oven. Make sure that it's important that the bacon is on top. And yes, I know the audio is not perfect. I'm going to show you something about this, and we can thank YouTube in a second. All right. Again, thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I have this high-end audio system all built in. See all the microphones I put in? Unfortunately, they're all useless. Thank you, YouTube. I'm going to get this thing. If I haven't already, let me check. Nope, apparently not yet. All right, good. So we're going to have a fun show tonight, hopefully. And one other thing I wanted to at least get started before I take you out to the COVID Kitchen Farms is tonight's wine is a cab. It's from the Tupungato Valley, which hopefully is not too COVID ravaged. It's in Argentina, in Mendoza. So if you haven't had this yet, it's called the Fifth Empire. Altitude 4,000 feet. It's a 2016. There it is. I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyway, I'm going to let it air out, and then we're going to go out to COVID Farms. And we're going to talk about farm to fork, farm to table, all those kinds of good things. Hope you're all doing okay. This is a Weirdo Friday, isn't it? But that's no reason for us to be sober. I think we can all agree on that. All right. Our cab is now in the decanter. Some air. And let's go take a look at Open Kitchen Farms. I'm glad that you're with me because I happen to be the, you're going to see Chef in a little while, but I happen to be the lead farmer, director of farm operations here at Open Kitchens Farms. And this is a great job for no other reason because they would have fired me a long time ago if I worked at any actual real farm. No, you'll see why here in a second. All right. Got the farm. So this is a very this doesn't look like well, it's not. And the funny thing is this right here, this sprawling mass of great farming is completely by accident. I didn't plant this. I wouldn't have planted it. The fact that it's living is an accident. I've done nothing whatsoever to nurture it, and yet it's grown probably more spectacularly than anything I've ever grown in my life in any backyard anywhere ever. These are peas, and originally I planted a few of them here last year, and they did okay. They were nice peas. I did not plant these. I think what happened is that the peas from the previous spot, the seeds blew into this part of the yard, and they sprouted on their own. There was no work. We did not plant anything here. I was actually going to grow something else here entirely, and these things grew. And look, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I mean they're huge. So COVID Farms is going to be doing a lot of uh, work logistically on peas. As you can tell, they're starting to flower. There's a mass, and so if we run out of toilet paper, I'm just going to use pea pods, basically. That's what it boils down to. Now, here's another curious story because I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a handful of onions coming up, which I planted about a year and a half ago. And they're coming up in the midst of some Brussels sprouts, which are starting about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So now I have these onions coming up that I wasn't counting on. They're coming up now. And then, so that's a problem. The garlic is easy. Garlic is doing good, and there's 5 of them coming up. These are actually second generations. Garlic is very easy to grow if you haven't grown it. Just throw the pieces in the ground and they'll come out. And like I said, this is actually the second generation, and they take no work whatsoever. And then we have this amusing bit of crap, which is I thought I was growing broccoli. I don't know if they're broccolini or they're. I'm just that bad at this. But here, I'll show you how terrible this looks. You see what that is? I mean, you can't use that broccoli. It's ridiculous. But that's what I'm growing. So I have a wonderful crop of stuff I didn't intend to grow, haven't done anything for, and they're doing great. I've got a mixed bag of stuff that is way off of phase, and I don't know which ones to kill or keep. Got these broccolis. There is one thing that's going pretty well, which are the hops. These are centennials. Let's see, they're in year 4. That's about, spring up, they grow like crazy, and they're coming out already, and so I'm sure they'll be fine. All right. So here at COVID Kitchen Gardens, we'd be dead if we were relying on that. But maybe it'll augment things, especially if you happen to be a fan of peas. If you like peas, this is your garden. And so, I'm probably going to get fired for the shitty job I've done here by the chef. Chef is really angry at me anyway. I'm already on thin ice, and I don't know what I'm going to do. He's a particular guy, so I'm going to go find him and see what I can do. Also, I'm going to go find Thirsty because I know everybody wants Thirsty. So just hang on a minute. Thirsty, where are you? Thirsty, Thirsty, where are you? Where are you, Thirsty? Thirsty, Thirsty, where are you? Hi, everybody, it's the chef. Oh, shit. Walter, what the hell? How can you even get out of your cage? Walter, answer me. I'm sorry. I probably should have told you about Walter. I just can't do this right now. I can't. Walter is Thirsty's older brother. And there's a whole story behind this. Walter, see, this is what happens to Walter, among many other issues. I can't do this tonight. I can't. I'm not going to do this today. I want this to be a happy Friday. So I got to take Walter and put him back in his cage. How did you get out of your cage? God, Darcy's working tonight, Walter. I apologize for that. I didn't realize that Walter was going to get out like that. I'll tell you about Walter some other time. I can't do that right now. For now, let's focus on tonight. As some of you have seen, I set up microphones around the kitchen because I had an entire audio experience worked out for you. For those of you who are surround sound, I had sync stereo set up and everything like that. And, we can't do that thanks to YouTube and whatever the issues are. Um, but I really don't know what's going on with why I keep getting booted. And anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. So for tonight, we're going to make something fun. Now, I'm sure that most of you have, good amounts of sausage in your house. If you're vegetarians, then this will be boring for you, and you should probably tune out now. But for those of you who are meat eaters, um, here we are. We're stuck in our kitchens. I haven't been to the store in 2.5 weeks, and that's fine because I basically have probably about 30 links of Yatrenica in the freezers. I'm sure in both the freezers, as I'm sure you do too. Um, if you don't, I really don't know what's going on with what you're thinking. But I mean, I may not have eggs, but if you don't have Yashenica, then I think you're out to lunch. Before we go on, tonight's wine. I already said so, I know, but let's make sure that we're aware of this. Tonight's wine is a cab, the Fifth Empire, by El Brocto. First, just got stuck. Hang on a second. Yes, I hear you. Thirsty beeps, basically. Thirsty. Sorry about that. I may wind up putting Thirsty in the robot house at the rate that Thirsty's going. Although after Walter came out and everything like that, I felt a little bad for Thirsty. There's a whole thing going on there. I'll tell you guys about that later. Anyway, for tonight, we have a choice between I can use the Yatrenica, which is like a porridge sausage. I'll explain more about it in a second. In a pizza, and I can make a homemade pizza with it as a feature, or I can make tacos with it. I'm more partial towards the pizza idea. I've had practice with it a little bit, and I think that it's, I can make it a little better. It's a little tastier. I'd rather eat it, which is important considering I'm the one who's going to be consuming the food. But for sake of our fans, if you really want to see tacos, I can make taco pizza if that's really your preference. So I'll let that stew in the environment for a minute because we still got to cook the ashranitsa for a few more minutes. But understand that this is open, and I'll check the chat logs in a second here to see what the preference is. Whether you want me to make pizza or you want me to make tacos with the sausage. A little more about Yatrenica, not like you don't know, but it's basically a pork sausage with some barley. You know, these recipes you can substitute if you really have to. I mean, if you don't have Yatrenica in your freezer, I mean, I think you're an idiot. I don't understand why you wouldn't, but fine, whatever. You don't have Yatrenica. Okay, so just use the Kishka that you've obviously got instead. I mean, I'm sure all of you have Kishka. It's fine. So that's my answer to that question. Just do the same thing I'm doing. There's one little difference is that in both cases, I throttle back a little bit on the other ingredients. Hi, Thirsty. Everybody loves you, by the way. Uh, but I throttle back on the other ingredients because Kishka's a little stronger tasting, with all the blood and all that stuff in it. But you already know that. So Hey, there's that. Now, the beautiful thing about these recipes is that they don't really require a lot of work, other than we got to basically have a little bit of augmentation with it, and the augmentation is going to depend a little bit on whether you like to. Oh, God, I love it when you just come up on my foot like that. That's so hot. We'll talk more later. But if the final flavoring is going to depend a little bit on whether I've got to put this into corn taco crust or whether we're going to have it on a flour tortilla. So anyway, let me see if there's any input yet. Pizza, pizza. All right. Well, I'll give it one more minute. We'll definitely make pizza. I'm ready to make pizza. But and that's my preference. So I appreciate both Vicky and Karen and Anitra. All right, you're all winning brownie points with me because I'd rather eat pizza with this. But you know, try to be a accommodating host. So let me take a sip of wine and then I'll see if there are any other dissensions. Thirsty, they all want you instead of me, by the way. You're like the sex symbol of the 2020 era when we live in the country of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Sorry, that's not corona. There's something else causing that coughing. Not sure what it is. Anyway, all right. So, all right. Well, let's make some. Hold on. Pizza, 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 taco pizza. All right, Melanie. All right. So pizza it is. Go. All right. Now this is very easy to do when you have already pre-apocalypse purchased pizza crust. As some of us who suck at making anything involving bread have done. This is very important, by the way, because I literally have tried more times than I can count, and so to make my own pizza crust, and I suck at it. This is wow, I've never seen you do that before. This is why I wish I had the audio running. By the way, before I dive too much into this, the whole audio experience is really disappointing to me. I got microphones hung. I've got a condenser right there. I had actually a thirsty, devoted microphone. Really sucks. Thanks, YouTube. Anyway, so let's get back to the cooking. So I need to kick this puppy up to four, 450. And we're going to pull the Yatrinitsa out. I'll explain why I did this with the Yatrinitsa in a second. Perfect. All right. So I use these things all the time. Don't be ashamed to use them. They're great. They, if you suck at making pizza dough, you can make a million things that are totally delicious with these things. You can purchase them even at the shitty Alhambra Safeway right at the corner here. There's probably traces of methamphetamine and maybe even coronavirus on this, but probably not because I purchased this prior to March 14th. So this is probably safe. Anyway, so we're going to use this tonight. All right, let me move this over here so that you get a full spectrum view. All right. Now, I like to basically have melted butter, brushed buy homemade pizzas. I make homemade pizzas all the time, and I think this is basically a no-lose situation. Just take a little butter, melt it in the microwave. It's nothing complicated. All right, while we're waiting for that to cook up, go ahead and get our green peppers ready. These are the last of my green peppers, so I got to do something useful with them. I'm going to put them in this pizza. This is an important detail about Yatrenica. You can't overcook or over flavor a pizza that's got Yatrenica in it. This is one giant difference between Yatrenica and Italian sausage. So I've made a couple of these Yatrenica pizzas, as I'm sure you all have. With Kishka, as you probably know, it would be less of an issue, but Yatrenica is a very easily overpowered flavor because of the fact that it's made with barley. And the barley, the barley basically causes the Yatrenica flavor to become less acute, and that's a problem. If you're wanting that flavor, it's you don't want to dilute it. You really don't. One of my green pepper pieces didn't quite chop them enough because basically I have a dying item, and that's okay. We'll just manually chop it. Totally fine. So, yeah, Yatrenica, as you're going to see in a second, is a little bit of a porridge sausage, and so it's not something that's going to take over the flavor of pizza in the way that an Italian sausage would. So the first Yatrenica pizza I made it like I would, and I threw the Yatrenica in like I would Italian sausage. That was a huge mistake. You couldn't taste the Yatrenica at all. At all. It's a wonderful sausage to eat as a standalone, but if you put it into a pizza and you throw all these other ingredients in, you're going to demolish its flavor. Don't do that. All right, great. So we've got a little melted butter. Melted butter is the greatest thing on the planet for pretty much everything. We're going to just apply it here to the base of the pizza. And I do this with any pizza. It doesn't matter whether you're making it with the Yatrenica or not. If you want your pizza to taste delicious, this is probably the easiest thing you can ever do on the planet. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand exactly why butter and flour would be bad, but if you don't like this idea, that's then stop cooking and just order from Domino's because they definitely don't use any butter on any of their products. So it'll be much healthier that way. All right, now, so here we are. We got this base of pizza crust, not exactly handmade, but that's fine. It'll be completely delicious. Wow, I don't have any. No. Okay, sometimes you get stuck without not thinking the ingredients you thought you had. That's fine because of coronavirus, I'm plenty well prepared. Now I just have to saw through my lazy Susan to find. This may have come from COVID Kitchen Farms out back or not. Perhaps also the anchovies did. See, I gotta fire that farm manager. This guy is not even growing fish back there. Dang Oscar. Where the hell did you put? Oh, there it is. My farm manager is such a jackass, but that's not your problem. We're going to go ahead and use this homemade processed sauce. Spread that out. You've grown these from your own tomatoes, and you're wasting your time. Use the processed stuff. It's fine, delicious, much healthier for you, and you won't have spent all that time pulling weeds. That's better. Now for the critical ingredient. All right, here's the alternative. Again, if any of you are foolish enough not to have, stockpiled your own Yatranitsa, then you're going to have Kishka here, which, fine, whatever. For the rest of you who were smart enough to actually prepare for coronavirus, you have Yatranitsa. The, the key thing about Yatranitsa is that we have to have it. We can't use it in with its usual. Uh, we can't just cut it up like it's Italian sausage. This is one thing that I've learned about. I've made about 4 of these pizzas, and you just can't do it that way. We basically are going to have to squeeze it out. So I tend to chop it in half, like I'm basically demonstrating off camera right now. So I cut it in half, and then I'm going to squeeze the stuff out right onto the pizza. This is how you survive the coronavirus, by the way. So I'm squeezing it right out of, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm squeezing it right out of the sausage casing onto the pizza. Now, this has one huge disadvantage. I love the casings. Fresh casings to me are a treat. But if you get sick of eating Yatris in the same way every day, or Kishka for obviously the rest of you, uh, you know, you have to throw this away, which is unfortunate because this is my favorite part. I'm gonna eat it anyway, but I won't. Um, just to basically, spoil yourself, you want to basically put that Yatranitsa out there. You can even do it like this. Squeeze it out of the casing. See how that works? Hope you can see that. Maybe squeeze it out of the casing. You've got this casing. That's what holds the sauce. By the way, this is your casing for lots of other things too. But we'll not go there. All right. Now, if it was a sausage that was a lot firmer, I would not do that. But with Yatranitsa is basically a porridge. It's because of the fact that there's a lot of barley in it. It's not like a normal. But you know this already. Why am I wasting my time telling you? So anyway, it's a porridge sausage. I'll spread it out. Okay, very nice. Oh, this looks delicious. Oh, put it in nice, even, thin coating. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. All right, beautiful. I cooked this Yatranitsa for about 25 minutes in the oven, which is an important detail because ordinarily I would do it for about 50 minutes or something like that. I wanted to par cook it. I didn't want to put it in straight because it will not cook in the amount of time it takes basically to cook the pizza. This is an important detail, by the way, in case you've fallen asleep. Uh, you do need to par cook the Yatrenica. It's very important. And I always bake my Yatrenica with a little bit of bacon, keep the Yatrenica moist. And that goes great on top of the sausage, and it's been par cooking along with the rest of the food. And so here we go. So now, hopefully, you can see this. We've got this wonderful, authentic Yatrenica sausage with bacon on it. I'm going to throw a little bit of green pepper and be happy with that. We'll just spread that around a little bit. Mm-mm. We're going to survive the coronavirus mightily with this. Just look at this. What's to fear? No reason to fear. Spread that out a little bit. Oh man, that's going to be delicious. So we got a little bacon, a little coronavirus. A little not coronavirus, a little Yatrenica. That's the way to eat right there. All right, now, so we're doing pretty good. We've got our basic pizza right now. Here's the thing. I've noticed that with Yatrenica that it's because it's got barley in it. Its flavor is fine when you just eat it on its own. It's the way to eat it. It's the way I like to eat it. But if you're trying to spice up your life, you've been sequestered for weeks or months, talking to nobody other than coworkers, and you've got to spice up your life. Well, so we have to have this, right? This is a key part of what we're trying to do here on COVID Kitchen. So here we have this thing. I want to eat this, but it's going to be a little bland. I know it is because I've done this before, and it's bland. Again, Yatrenica spread out amongst many other ingredients becomes bland. So how do we spice it up? Well, we spice it up by augmenting all the spices that went into the Yatrenica in the first place. Now, I'm not going to give you all the tricks for the secret ingredients that went into this Yatrenica. That would be lame and wrong, and I'm just not going to do that. However, I'm going to point out a couple of important things that we're going to spice this pizza up with to make it more flavorful. So pay close attention. People who are working with Kishka right now at home say, "Chef, what should I use?" That's a different episode. I'll have to come back to that later. All right. Anyway, for now, this is the most important one: marjoram. You say marjoram, what's that? And nobody really knows what marjoram is, and that's okay. But it's a critical component of the flavor of Yatrenica. And so I would give a nice dusting of marjoram over the whole pizza, just like I did there. Okay? I mean, you're not using it for anything else. If you have marjoram in your house, probably been sitting there for at least 15 years, go ahead and use it. This is your opportunity. Next. And I'm not going to use all the ingredients that went into this. I don't want to give away all the secret spices. But here's one. God bless. Look how hard that is. This is one of the problems of being sequestered in coronavirus land. Ridiculous. All right, that should be good enough. Delicious and hygienic too. So this is garlic powder. Put a little garlic powder all over it. Little clumps are fine. They're encouraged. They're kind of like the equivalent of having mushrooms or things like that. It's delicious. You just bite into some garlic powder. Let's see what the problem is. And then let's see. Garlic powder. Shit, try not to get water on the microphone. Not a good idea. Anyway, I don't want to give that away. I can't use that spice because that would be a secret. Oh, onion powder I can use. Oh, you know what? I can do better than that. Put some actual onions on it. Red onions. It'll go well with this because sweeter onion is always delicious. Mmm, wonderful. Let's just spread those guys around a little bit, give it a little texture and mouthfeel. Everybody loves mouthfeel, right? Yes, of course they do. And we'll put one other thing on here. By the way, one way to keep onions lasting for a long time when you're in the middle of a uh, suspension of First Amendment rights, like we're in today, is to wrap it in paper towel. That way, hopefully, you can still have your onion if our constitutional rights ever become restored. And just for good measure, because it's Friday night, want to live it up a little. Let's put a little bit of tomato on it. Ordinarily, if I was making a Yatranitsa pizza, I would not do this. But, you're special guests. I love you guys, especially the subscribers, even though it doesn't cost any money, nor is it worth any money. But anyway, definitely put some tomatoes on these puppies. All right, good. So there we go. It's a completely Del Taco worthy pizza, right? All right, let's put it in the oven. Now, some people prefer to use their family recipe, but I don't. I try to go to this. Tell me how many minutes this needs to be in the oven. Except when I can't find it because I already threw it out in the garbage, I'll just guess. All right. So there you have it. Now, while we're waiting, I'll be back in 1 second. I got it in for 12 minutes. I can say this, by the way, for those of you who are binge watching the show, as I'm sure many of you are. I mean, why wouldn't you be? There's worse garbage on TV that gets binge watched. It's really weird because there's such a lag. I don't even see myself on the screen. But it doesn't matter. For those of you binge watching right now, this particular wine is better than the one I had the other night. The wine the other night, I kept trying and trying and trying. I drank the whole bottle, and it still never really turned into a delicious wine. I just kept consuming it. This wine is a little more subtle. It's not strong, but it's nice. It's very delicate by a cab standard. It's certainly not, you know, Count Frank or anything like that, but it's tasty in a very subtle way. So that's nice. There's nothing sour about it. It's a little fruitier, and I like fruitier wines to an extent. I'm not a night train fan like my grandfather was, but I still enjoy, a little bit of that, you know, sugar flavor. I'd try to say that it, has hints of currant and marjoram and burnt curry, but it doesn't. It just basically tastes like nice grapes. Anyway, I'm going to put you on thirsty for a second so you can enjoy the true star of the show. Thirsty? Thirsty? What? What? What do you want? Okay, tell me what you need. Just don't beep at me. It's really difficult when they just beep at you. Like, you're supposed to know what they want. Here, watch this. Oh, really? See? That was it? Just wanted me to acknowledge your existence? How did you? Well, rescues take a little bit of care and feeding. I'll tell you about Walter sometime, but I just don't want to do it right now. Anyway, so our pizza at the moment has 8 minutes to go. It's doing pretty well. It smells good. All right, so we have two things to deal with at the moment. One is thirsty stuck, and the second is I need to put the cheese on the pizza. Which do you think is the higher priority? That's right, putting cheese on the pizza. 5 minutes to go. Now's the time to put it on. For those of you who put cheese on the pizza at the beginning of the bake, stop doing that. Starting today. You want your pizzas to taste really good? Don't put the cheese on them right away. The same, by the way, is true. Like you don't cook an omelet with the cheese in it right away. You don't shouldn't cook anything other than maybe macaroni and cheese with the cheese in it right away. Give it time. Let it cook and put the cheese on last. Every time I see people doing this, I just cringe. Now that's the way to cook a pizza. All right, now let's fix Thirsty. Thirsty, where are you? There again? Thirsty. Yeah, we didn't even need to go over there. It's like a teenager. And he went right back under there. Why? Why did he go right back under the sofa? He just got stuck under there. Get it. All right, let me check in with the chat here to see what kinds of sarcastic commentary I'm getting. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. Well, there you go, Jackie. Well, that's how it goes. So now look at Jackie with all the taco requests. I just saw those anchovies. Yes, Stephen, I've got plenty of anchovies, as you well saw. All right, it doesn't look like I have any excessive sarcasm tonight. It looks like the diehards are dying out here. Well, anyway, I appreciate you dialing in. For those of you who did, and remember, just because it's called the land of the free and the home of the brave, not so. We don't do it. That's what Thirsty says, at least. I don't know what I think. Thirsty's pretty philosophical. Anyway, got 2 minutes left, and so like Julia Child would say, Nix Apache. I'm going to go ahead and clock out because I have nothing else to add here. Hope you've enjoyed it, and if not, well, too bad. See you next time on COVID Kitchen.